Hey everyone, I'm Tassenix, and welcome to Plotting and Scheming, the Grand Arena focused podcast centered around the top 100 of Kyber 1 for Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. It is the Week 2 episode for Season 80, 3 versus 3 Grand Arena Championship. It is my pleasure to be joined by the full team here. It is Dagger, TJ, Sasha, Aisha, and Fatal. Yes, I forgot to put it on. Doesn't bother me. Where is that?
He's afraid of the dings of people leaving and coming back to a channel that only like 6 people have access to.
Something like that. Where is it? Why is it hiding from today?
Well, the good thing is I shouldn't have to repeat that.
Oh, where is that?
I hope we don't restart. I
No,
hope
we
this
won't.
is all
We
true.
won't. It's
Okay, good.
annoying
No, if
because
you
I
look closely,
usually
this was
find
the
this
first
in
thing
like
on the
2
agenda.
seconds, and today it's
Go to your settings,
yeah,
scroll all the way down,
yeah.
and there's a streaming setting under experience.
There sure as hell is not. There is under voice and video though.
Under experience is voice and video. And under voice and video is streaming. So I don't know what you're like on about.
Not seeing it.
Well,
What in the hell?
well, while he's figuring that out, I went 1 and 2.
Yeah,
And,
why don't you tell
I
the
am
people about your week? Yeah.
And I am burning out my fuse up here alone because I am the Rocket Man today. TJ.
Hey, thanks. Actually, really good week, bet. Had 2 awesome matches, went 1 and 2. And in my round 3, I lost by 3 points of a 2093 to 2090 score. I'll let you decipher who I was facing with that kind of score.
That's fair. Sasha.
Sasha.
Yeah, I had only one real match, but it was a ton of fun. It was with Tass. And honestly, like I mentioned this to Tass, it's the most fun I've had in the game in the last like 2, 3 months. And that's a match that I lost. But yeah, it was just it reminded me of why I really enjoy GAC as a game mode when you play sort of amongst friends and you get to try a variety of different stuff with the interaction around it. I have had a different experience for the last few months, so that was super refreshing and fun, despite taking the L.
Appreciate it. And how about you, Fatal? How was your week?
I have really been enjoying this season in the planning phase. I don't know what people are doing. We'll get to it a bit. I don't know what people are doing. People are doing some really weird stuff. I've never had a season quite like this where I felt like I was like really getting technical and trying some really cool stuff and setting traps and attacking people in my defense, and then I just look at the attack plan. And it's like, why would you do this? It just keeps happening. I was like looking around in other people's matches and like, nope, everyone just has mass psychosis, I guess. Okay.
Nice.
But otherwise, 3-0 successful week. I climbed too high. I have an Erodium this match, so see you never.
Yeah, well, fair enough. At least you'll have a couple good matches this week. Let me tell you, for this week 2, I had a banger. It was great to be back in the top bracket. Sasha already mentioned the final match of the week was versus him. Really fun, decided by, relatively few banners there. I made a big error in the beginning and was, cleaning up after myself the rest of the time and managed the win. But the first 2 matches were also great. My first time defeating Mad Mage Nira in round 1. That's one of the Phantom's Menace guys. And then Herbert, the best of those Phantom's Menace guys, in round 2. Been months since I've defeated him. So getting those 2 wins and Sasha all in 1 week, sweeping the top bracket against all real players, that is something I haven't done in a long, long time, and that felt absolutely fantastic. So I was really riding high going into this week. I made some preparations. I got some of the new crons. And that brings us into our first segment before we talk about the meta analysis. Segment 1 is I've been had. Check this out. See how it says on screen, Grand Arena, next matchmaking, 6 days, 22 hours. I've seen it all, people. I was expecting Erodiums. I was expecting maybe to be in the same type of good bracket as last week in the best case. But worst case, pushed out of the top bracket, fighting Erodiums yet again. That's what I expect. Instead, we got something brand new, never before seen. I never even knew this was possible. I am in a null bracket. There's no one here. There's no one here. There's nothing here. There is no one here.
Oh my god. So what this tells you, this is amazing. I didn't know that you could do this.
Dig this. When I hit the review for this round, look what it says.
Yeah.
You should
You
have been slotted
literally-
in as like 4th, I think, right?
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. And I signed up, and I did resave several times throughout the day, but yeah, I was signed up. So I've already reached out to Meathead. I don't know, they're not going to like regenerate brackets to get me in somewhere. So I think I'm just, screwed for this week, obviously. But I don't know if there's anything that they can do for me. I don't know if there's anything they can do, because it feels really shitty to want to showcase, not only top end Grand Arena fighting, but also showing off some of the things they want to sell to people. They want to sell these new Datacrons. I was going to showcase them here this week. And I, spent crystals. I spent money to get after a couple of these. And it's all for naught. So hopefully they can do something there, because that feels terrible. That really feels terrible.
I hope you learned your lesson.
Yeah,
it's
you never click the sign up button again.
No. Don't ever beat Herbert again. This is clearly because
it's a successful lobbying effort, right? To get me shadow banned.
Yes.
It's
telling you that Fatal, you can see what you happen when you progress to the levels of you got nothing but Erodiums. You do really good. You can get no opponent.
Yeah, Tass beat both Phantom's Menace guys in his bracket, and CG decided he was cheating.
No, he's hacking for sure.
Something.
Yeah.
So have you guys ever heard of this happening before?
I've literally never heard or seen that before. I don't think, and the whole time,
never in this version of Grand Arena. The previous version of Grand Arena, I've had it where they couldn't find me 8 opponents. I've had a 6-man bracket. But yeah, never nobody in my bracket.
Yeah. This is a truly unique circumstance, so kind of crazy. All right, guys, appreciate you hearing me out on that. So I'll be living vicariously through all of you. I'll try and get a guest match. I mean, Sasha, you're generally, too busy to be able to have me stream one of your matches. But if the opportunity presents itself, let me know, man.
I appreciate it. I'm traveling though this weekend, so I doubt it. I'd be able to. I'm going to be in airports and out.
I'll reach out to the French guys. I'll see what some patrons have good matches. I'll see what I can do. But anyways, guys, let's move in to the regular agenda. Meta analysis. First up, so last week we were talking, for week 1, people were doing Cassian, Sintavel, and finding that it was getting beaten out by lesser teams. So the shift for week 2, a lot of folks was having Clea and Luthen with Cassian. My encounter with that was, I think I fought it only once like that, and I used Queen. So against the Cassian Sintavel, Queen was just a rude stomp, way overkill. With Clea and Luthen, they get undermined on a Padawan Obi-Wan, and I want to say, the Cassian level 9 says when Rebel Fighter allies or something's happening where when they gain turn meter, undermined enemies take true damage, something like that. And that's the story of how Padawan Obi-Wan got down to like 1 health. And then he was able to stabilize. He got his next turn. Those heal over times kicked in. And we made it out. And the fight says it was a 57. It was bumpy for me. I know, Fatal, you had a note you wanted to cover here, fighting Cassian.
We're very, very hyped on this team after week one. Like, oh, look at the data. Look at the data. There's no good counters to this. And I felt pretty strongly that that was kind of bullshit. Yeah, I just remodded my Seer to be pretty fast. Or not Seer herself, but sped Maul up greatly, like around 360-ish speed, if not higher.
Oh.
No, actually, I think he's like 3 or 375 or so. I don't remember it. He's fast.
Oh.
Fast enough that if Clea does something like an AoE bomb explosion, he will be well in position to get in their face immediately. And yeah, I mean, look, man, I have maintained so far that, like, Cassian is a team that preys on you for not reading kits. And if you understand, like, hey, don't hit the Maul Dispel, that will undermine you. That's bad. Especially with the FDC, that's bad for business. And like, if you're willing to, prey on the team's weaknesses, like, yeah, I think teams like Malicos are pretty dang well equipped during the FDC or after.
I do want to comment that it was nice watching Fatal get to talk through the fight. It didn't feel like he was in a lot of pressure to hurry it up and finish it. Make right move, him going through it. So just from the observation and watching the content creator, it was a good sound judgment of watching the proper way to do things. Because it was textbook watching the fight.
I did not play the way that I expected, because apparently a bunch of people have Luthen faster than Clea, which seems odd to me, but I don't know. It'll play differently. To what degree, I don't know. We'll see. But it from what I experienced at that fight, it seemed actually worse than I expected. Like, I thought the team would actually be more dangerous than what they ended up doing.
So you're saying that it would be preferable for Clea to be faster than Luthen. Why is that?
I mean, what else is she gonna? Yeah, she's 211 speed. Like, what else is she gonna do? I don't.
Yeah, she's like one of the 3 fastest non-GL characters in the game.
Okay, so
yes.
You're saying that you were surprised that somebody made what seems to be a deliberate effort to have Luthen faster than Clea, and you don't immediately see a reason for that, and it's just naturally given to Clea to be so fast.
Yeah, isn't Luthen like 170 something, and then like Clea's like 210?
All right.
Like, there's a significant gap, I want to say, but I'm seeing on GG that there's a couple of fails, and you would posit then that they led with the Maul AoE. No, that's the thing.
No, it's. I mean, there are ways to misplay, yes, but also I think the remod that I did to help solve the counter certainly helps a lot. If you go before Cassian does, that's a good thing to be doing.
How fast is Cassian on average?
Ranges 320 to 340 and gets
10%
per meter if Undermine gets applied.
Okay.
Any other notable fights from the rest of you guys going against Cassians this week, or whatever you thought was the nastiest version of the Rebel fighters?
No, I fought the Saw Luthen Clea thing.
Yeah, what'd you throw at it?
BKM, and I would have won if I, had gotten enough turns, but I didn't get enough turns, so I timed out.
Okay. All right. Well.
The data looked okay, and I figured it was free to use, so I used that. And I got one of them out and then cleaned it up easy.
I feel like DR Zalbar will probably shit on this team as well. Or at least I'm having a hard time thinking of why I wouldn't.
The Cassian?
Yeah. I took Zalbar off of the Wookiee mods. I said, fucking alright, I will try it this week.
My filter shows 1 DRZ, and it was a goose egg. So, 1 attack.
I would also encourage people to reread how the FDC works, and note that when Cassian is dead, you don't have to hit the decoy. You can just whack on Clea and bide your time until it makes sense for you to hit the decoy.
Yeah. All right. If there's nothing else there on the Rebel fighters, we'll move to our next team. DVDE. So, I was excited to do some monkey see, monkey do following Fatals using Fugitive Omega to clear that team. It does look like they fixed that this week, and I discovered this at the convenient point. I just saw this happen to Fatal yesterday too, where you've managed to snipe out DVDE. Now it's EP and Mara Jade, and you'd love to kill Mara Jade, but Mara Jade goes into stealth, which means you have this awkward circumstance where you have a fully, shaken off Crosshair just hitting EP, and EP's just waiting to put him in cuffs as soon as he falls over. So that's exactly what happened. And I wasn't able to save my Crosshair and Wrecker. It was, in the end, it was a duel between Fugitive Omega and Mara Jade, and I managed to win auto basic 50 banners. I would not do it again. Fatal, how about you?
There's actually a lot that I could say here. I'll try
Please.
not to take too long. So for those who aren't aware, DVDE normally has Taunt Ignore, and for 18 months ever since Bad Batch 2 came out, most characters who have innate Taunt Ignore were ignoring the lock stealth. Now, for this matchup, on average, Crosshair is actually extremely tanky due to his auto cleanse here and his, crit immunity and regen per turn. So while DVDE was just ignoring taunts, you were sort of fine with that, right? Like, the worst, in my opinion, the worst thing that could have happened to you in week 1 was, like, maybe your Omega gets focused or something, and it's like, oh, I have to save her. That has changed now that stealth is working, and that means that now, finally, fuckers can't just, like, if you decide to post Bad Batch 2 on defense, fuckers can't just run JML or Bo-Katan Mandalore and kill your Crosshair first. It's like, nope. That's not how the game is supposed to work. Alright, let's actually get a little bit serious here. But that means that this matchup has changed very fundamentally, and people see the amount of relics that I put on and tend to assume that means that I need them, and I usually try to be pretty transparent of saying, like, no, you don't need what I have to do what I'm doing. That is not true in this matchup. I think that this is hyper investment sensitive now. I do plan to continue doing this matchup. I have remodded for it. I have some of my best mods thrown at this matchup. I will probably use one of my best Datacrons in this matchup to try to maintain that stability. Because DVDE is forced to go all in on your Wrecker, that alone means, like, he has to tank it all. Wrecker dying is more or less a matter of inevitability because of the death mark. I'm maybe going to try playing around with the Omega heal timings and see, like, well, what if I let Wrecker drop to, like, no protection, 50% health, and then top him off or something like that, and see if that adds some longevity or whatever. And then on top of that, back when we were talking about Relic 10s, and I talked about my 3 Bad Batch relics, and I said at that time, no, you don't need 3, or even you don't need 2 Relic 10s on Bad Batch. They're kind of luxury. And I said at the time, the only reason why I did them is for possible 3v3 limit testing, because they have a lot of trouble there. And for some of the fights that I ran this week, at least one of the fights that I ran, I actually am pretty damn positive that the R10 Omega made the difference on her surviving and being able to, rally after Crosshair died for killing Palpatine. Awesome. So, yeah, no, look, man, I talk my talk, and I'm walking the walk. This is a matchup that you don't want to fuck with. Well, okay, I will say, like, maybe some of it depends on RNG, like, do you get fractured at the start? No. But no, on average, I'm still going to stand by my guns. I don't think you should bother trying this matchup anymore unless you're, like, sicko mode, all in perfect Wrecker mods, Omega also heavy, like, triple defense, center speed defense at 4 protection, prime. Just don't. It's too risky. Okay, if you see a tank version, probably safer. Probably more doable. Still expect a mess. Still expect that your wrecker is going to get G-checked. But if it's a tank, you can at least, not have to worry about the Palpatine crosshair kill. That's that. Good luck. Probably don't.
Fair.
Yeah, well, it'll be fun to watch that this week. Then Fiddle, see with it all sort of optimized for you to see how this goes. So I had the opportunity to take Tass on and his EP, PVDE, and MJ. And before you show it, Tass, don't show it yet.
No, tell us. Yeah.
I guess one question, like just as Fatal said, like this is a pretty, it can be a demanding battle depending on what you bring, and it's pretty easy to screw it up. And if you do end up, just breaking the team down. So let's just say your first attack, all that's left standing is DVDE, and you're just going in for a cleanup. Feels like a lot should be able to clean up DVDE, right? So if it's just DVDE, and I was thinking, well, gosh, if that's the case, I would imagine Tuskens hit pretty hard. Now, granted, I know DVDE takes reduced damage from percent health effects, but Tuskens can hit pretty darn hard. And, you can always ramp their momentum or whatever and, build up to a big hit. So that was my thinking that then led me down a self-destructive spiral of, well, if they can just clean up a lone DVDE, and if they have enough survivability, EP and MJ are just going to melt to dots. Aren't they essentially just taking on a lone DVDE? And granted, the EP DVDE then has, or the DVDE then has the Palpatine leadership ability still active, but like, it's 4 Tuskens against one already like pre-burned Sith. Like you can do that, right? So I decided, let me just get the highest survival approach that I could for my Tuskens against Tass's EPDVDE. And sure enough, in the first 45 seconds or so, EP and MJ had melted themselves away. And I was disappointed that my Tuskens could not hang in to take out DVDE. I really thought that they'd be able to do it, but fairly early on, because he can, Norton, he was able to take out Chieftain after that, and I just didn't have the oomph because pretty quick after that, I think I lost Warrior. But anyway, that's what I did. That was my thinking as to why. And that was with a Datacron that had like no damage associated with it, but it had 416% defense. So I really strived to just survive and then take a 4-on-1. Anyway, don't do what I did.
So let me ask you something. I made the effort to have him in a high speed, high offense secondary, health primary cross. Do you think the added health on him was significant in your fight? Because the other way to go would for me to put him back into an offense primary cross, and that would take his offense from like 11.6 to straight up 12K in a crit damage set.
It never reached a point where his survivability was pressured, because even at the offense that you had him at, even with a health primary cross, once he was able to target, I think maybe there's a little bit of justification of the R10 you have on him, because I think like an R8 Chieftain, and I don't know if that 10% made a huge difference from Relic Delta, but Chieftain could not handle the might of that Vader. And that is, again, with, as jacked up a defensive Datacron as I had.
He was coming for you. Yeah. I dig it. I appreciate it. You guys.
But that was one that I wanted to try from the beginning of all these seasons. And this was the first chance I had. This is the frustrating part of having so many Rhodiums. Is I finally get a real match. This was my second or third attack in my first real match in a while. And it was the trade-off of I could have probably done something a little more expensive and had a higher chance to win. But I was so curious about this. Probably shouldn't have been, but and clearly it was a failed experiment. But yeah.
Yeah. No, I appreciate it. Thank you. I really wanted to get some notes from you on your attacks versus me. I didn't get the chance to really pick your brain yesterday, and I'll probably do some of that later if it's things that we don't end up covering here. But the
You got it.
the gambit that I went for, it looks like it worked. Like I wanted you to have to use JMK versus Pirate King in the back, and damn if I didn't end up getting that from you. That was the one thing I
100%.
wanted the whole match.
That absolutely did that for me, and I think in part because I was really determined to keep Leia on defense. I wanted to do that. A little bit of principle, a little bit of I thought it'd be fun to watch, and then that then limited my options against Ahsoka and against a few of your other defenses that you set, and absolutely it had me hanging on to JMK. And like shame on me, like I think this is some of it just the lack of reps and inexperience. I hadn't even thought about. I didn't realize that there was this like prohibitive issue for JMK Cat against the OG Hondo version of Pirate King Hondo. I didn't even realize until like I got there, looked at it, and I'm like, huh, I can see how this could be an issue. And then sure enough, it was.
I appreciate it. Any other interesting fights from you guys to cover on DVD this week?
Yeah, it depends on what you're looking for. If you want to just get the best banners you possibly can, just do to your opponents what Herbert did to Tass and just solo it with Ahsoka. Otherwise, you can take like the 75% that is Treya if you want good banners. Or if you don't really care about your banners, C Malik plus a pre-taunt is going to kick the shit out of it for like 50.
I mean, yeah, you can afford to rough it like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Good
I mean,
stuff.
like those are kind of, and if they don't set MJ, like my opponent didn't set MJ, one of my opponents didn't set MJ. I just you just Maz it like normal.
Yeah, I
So-
think if you do if you take anything else other than like Savage and or MJ, you just try to do a tank. Gungans really start to come into play for like a free 57.
Okay.
You
Yeah,
need
and
the other point of reactivity.
Oh, and Lord Vader Apo looks like it can beat the trio with a MJ for like it looks like 55.
Good to know.
So I mean, like you have options for this team. It's just gonna be an annoyance as long as it's propped up by Krons. Actually, no, I lied. There's Lord Vader solos here. You don't need Apo.
Correct.
Yeah, I was about
It
to
is
say that was my
absolutely.
experience.
There's
Yeah.
just less of them.
Yeah.
I had it sorted by volume, not by win percentage.
Yeah. All right, our next item here in meta analysis: Wampa versus ISB. I know Dagger likes this, and I actually see here Sasha did that to me here in round 3 last week. So,
I did, and some real learnings from it. But
yeah, tell us about it, because here it is. I've got a jacked up KX, man. He's a big boy. I was surprised, and here he is. He made it 57. This Wampa is holding on with fumes. So what can you tell us about this one, Sasha?
yeah, it's what I'll say, I'll start with, I think the key takeaway for you is that it's like nice validation on that R10 invested into KX, because that I think made this an extremely risky player. Like as you see, it comes out with the 57. Wampa is not only doesn't have his protection, but is relatively low on health. There were a number of times where Wampa almost died, and my Wampa's R9, not R10, but I felt like I had done a lot to increase survivability. But that being said, where I do trade off on some survivability on that Wampa is chasing some tenacity. I mean, we all like to have the tenacity just to make sure that no debuffs get on initially for Wampa. Maybe that leaves like a low potency Bausch Jabba vulnerable to Wampa, something like that in certain metas. So all that to say that, I really had a pretty high survivability Wampa with a little bit of shifted towards tenacity. The challenge with the ISB squad is that there are a number of unresistible debuffs that come out, one of which is relatively harmless to you, and that is blind. Like, Wampa doesn't care because he can't basic can't be evaded, and when he does his AOE attack, if he gets that opportunity, he's still generating that bonus protection. So that's all okay. But the other irresistible debuff that gets on you is really problematic, and that is shock. And one of the main issues that comes with that is if KX sticks around long enough and reaches whatever 5 stacks of, I can't remember the name of the buff that he gets, you start having that land more and more on you. And I think in most cases, like with an R9 KX or below, just the counters and basics from my Wampa would have killed the KX. However, because yours is R10, really well modded, that KX lasted quite a while. And so I had a number of times where I would get my Wampa to a point where he couldn't counter, wasn't gaining turn meter, and was just sort of hanging on there. Basically, had to use a basic for whatever health steal he could manage to carry on with survivability. So that's a battle that, like, I think if I were to do that again, there's always some RNG in these types of battles. I don't know that I would have won 5 times out of 10 in that effort task. So, and when I did, it was a 57, not a 58 or 9.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. That's really, it still was a 57, but that's probably the most impressive thing I've seen happen with my ISP so far. So appreciate that. Dagger, what comments do you have on this one? Because this was your topic, and I see that you provided us some data to go over.
No, I didn't really have much to add. I didn't try this, but it's something I found when I was just perusing data that looked really, really budget. Because I don't know about you guys, but my Wampacron has gone relatively homeless. Because I don't really need it on the teams that I thought I would need it on, right? So it's like, oh, I saved it because I might need it here, 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 and then consistently just didn't need it. So, plus it's a budget option because your alternative is like JMM, but this means you can jam your JMM on defense. So maybe this buys you a defense team. I don't know. It depends on where you're at.
Sure. All right. Anybody else? Something to mention about good matchups versus ISB this week? Pretty.
I'll flip it quickly and say not about against ISB, but I did not set my ISB against UTAS.
Yeah.
And I almost did. I really considered doing it because I thought you might try and Wampa it, and I wasn't so sure that your Wampa would survive that, so I was kind of curious. But when I held it, one thing I realized is it is a slam dunk against Stormtrooper Luke.
Yeah,
Han,
I've seen that.
And Leia. Like, that was like a comical 57.
I will say, if you're not going to put it there, and I was looking at the data and I set it against my the Phantom Menace guy, the Dedricron on the Ray team with some of the defensive stats with Cal, I was actually liking what the numbers look like and what it was causing. I guess you want to call it air quotes a stink on with Cal and that setup. It looked like it was doing some pretty good stuff to a lot of the counters you're going to use.
Okay.
So if you're not going to set it, I thought that was a good alternative.
Appreciate it. And here's another topic from Dagger about using Satele versus Lord Vader. And you just showed this screen cap here, I think, from your own history, wasn't it?
This was a pre-show conversation where we were talking about people being dum-dums.
Yeah.
And this is one that I just highlighted in my own history of use Jolie.
Be greedy, folks.
Why are you not using Jolie?
This is happening everywhere. I don't know why this is happening everywhere.
It's called unmitigated greed.
Yeah.
Guys.
Appalling greed is all it is, Fatal.
People doing dum-dums. I do my own fair share of dum-dums. I'm not here trying to say I'm better than anybody at this. But yeah. I know Fatal said I don't know if he had specific examples, but I know he had more than I did off the top of my head about people doing dumb shit.
No, man, I rebuilt my Stranger team to specifically prey on people who ran Bastila. Because, and all of my opponents have been running Bastila. And yeah, motherfucker, your Revan's dead. Like, it was every time you start a match, the dice invisibly roll on who does my stranger target. And if my
I
stranger
will say
targets your Revan, bye. Cool.
it
You just could've
was
run the Revan
especially
guy.
yeah. If you put that Wapacron in there too, and I was talking about a task because you didn't. That was one of your life options, and I watched where without the Jolie, JKR was literally dead. This is dead and gone, right? We're talking revive is gone, and JKR was dead. And without the Jolie, there was no revive mechanic, and I think it was Vex. So I was like, I'm not going to call this wrong or right, but you decide I'm going to go take Bastila against somebody where I look at your character, you have no more character. I would be concerned. So just to support the use the Jolie mechanic, it's pretty much there.
This is wrong or right. I am gonna call it this. There is no reason not to bring Jolie.
I can't think of a good reason to drop to drop Jolie in pretty much any matchup in threes.
Yeah. Why would you drop? Like, that's the weakness of the team is you just need to be able to resurrect somebody. Yeah, I don't actually recall Fatal, but yeah, I think you sounded better there just a second ago.
Yeah. This was mostly just a PSA that I think we need to have a weekly PSA about, like, Bastila has really cool mechanics on this team. There is no reason to run her.
Yep. All right. That was the end of our prepared meta list. I wanted to go back over to mine and just highlight a couple things that were cool.
Oh,
on
really
defense.
quick before you do that.
Yeah.
I found out today that Yoda and Chewie is a Jedi because I just filtered my roster by Jedi, and Yoda and Chewie is there.
Good. Literacy remains undefeated. Now dig this. I wanted to talk briefly about Ahsoka with Ezra this week. So, Fatal, you went into this week with your Ezra in a health primary, right? For Arrow?
Yeah, for the first 2 weeks of the season, I was very much content to just run Great Mother's traps.
Yeah.
And so I had Ezra and Syndulla both 3 health set, 4 health primary, 80% of health bulk run.
Wow.
Just, yeah. Fucking try it, motherfucker. And someone tried it, and they lost. Crazy how that works out.
Yeah, so that was a strat, and I wanted to highlight that here because that's a different tack than I took to block Great Mothers. And the way that I went, I did go with the crit avoidance arrow. I've got some good health secondaries. I want to say about 130,000 health, and you were probably, what were you in full health on your Ezra? 6 health sets. Just ballparking.
I have no idea. I can check. My Ezra was ranging around like 520, 530k total health.
So all right. So that is definitely a way to block out Great Mothers. I went with, this Ezra with the crit avoidance arrow. So about 374 speed last week, about 129, 130,000 health. About 60% armor, not insane armor. Not that matters for, impeding Great Mothers. However, we did have this crown on that had light side bulk level 3, about 20% health besides, 54% crit damage, and 200% defense. Again, defense wasn't really targeted at weakening Great Mothers per se, but that was the package that I set down. And yeah, this match was against Mad Mage Nira. He had to retreat 53 seconds in. It was not happening. And then in round 2...
Really quick to add on to that, if you filter just by the bulk level 3 and like Ahsoka, Ezra, Hera with nothing else, it's like 30% that Great Mothers is winning. So I don't know how much extra effort you have to go to block this team out right now. Obviously you can, but like I feel like because we have bulk level 3 and like health on the Datacron, I don't know how much extra effort you have to put. Not saying you can't or whatever, but yeah, it just does not look like something I'm going to be trying.
I didn't feel confident in trying it against Tassenix. Exactly like Dagger was saying that
32.7% Sasha.
yeah. I looked at it and instead, I said, why don't I take my slacker in and drop with that instead? So that was my winning move.
Which was incredible. I'm very. Can you tell me why? So you timed out here. What was it that you weren't able to
Yeah,
get
look,
through Ahsoka? What's
if you're
up with
willing to
that?
pay for the therapy session, yeah, sure, happy to go back into that trauma.
Yeah, please.
So it was honestly, it was a really impressive like thickness of your Spectre squad. Like there's maybe a little bit of poor RNG for me in that they tackled Hux fairly quickly, but like not right away. I would say like a minute in, and then eventually got down my D-Ray. And I say they because all three of your Spectres survived until probably 4 minutes and 50 seconds. I was sort of limping from early alt to early alt with my SLK, and trying whatever I could to just get the sides down. And then it was in the last 10 seconds that I was able to get both the sides. And maybe the challenge was I needed a more aggressive offensive stat set on my Datacron that I brought. But my approach, I'm sure, wasn't perfect, but I don't think it was like a total disaster. I kept Ezra stunned as much as I could, um, but it was really frustrating. I didn't expect that one to go wrong, and it was just a testament, I think, to the light side thick and your modding on those characters.
If it makes you feel better, Sasha, there's a handful of other timeouts
Yeah.
in this fight, and there's a couple just straight up losses.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, this easily could have been.
Do
And maybe
you
and
have a-
maybe it wasn't going to be a loss, but it was a decent shot. It was going to be a timeout with the full squad there, Decker. So sadly, I get it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm just looking at the data
Yeah.
for this, and it's like, with the light side, just again, this just goes back to light side bulk level 3. This one just has 200% defense. This one has 50% health. It's not like they're
So
putting like max datacrons down and they're getting anyway. Yeah,
yeah.
like, this team is brutal. And once it's like thick, I'm not saying it's
All that
unkillable,
being
but it's
said, like it is very thick. It's not easy to break through. I think far more often than not, one would break through. But if you look at the complete flip side of approach and strategy in setting your GLA, would be what I did to TAS. Right, I went with the Lumicron, all offense, absolutely no survivability statistics included on it, and I did that in part like totally scare off Night Sisters, I believe, because I think just the counters end up sort of tearing through most Night Sister squads. As much as like I have no doubt he would have been able to kill somebody off the bat, but in watching your Leia Drogon R2, which with a good cron again, brought against my Ahsoka, like, I don't know, Tess, if you did that battle 10 times, I don't think you win more than like 6 times, 7 times. I mean, your Leia came close to dying early on. Your Drogon died at least once.
Died
R2
and
could have
stayed
easily
dead.
just.
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
statistically
we weren't able
speaking,
to bring him
dead-
back. We got a 53 on that one. And yeah, I put a lot of love into Leia. She's like 73% armor, 200,000 health. And
Mhm.
that first blitz out of Hu Yang there took her to like
Yeah.
35% health from full.
Yeah.
So I was terrified. I thought that was the end, man. Yeah, that was a great setup. So honorable mention there to Ahsoka Hu Yang, especially if you're going to commit. Like, you've got a good offensive modding, whether that's offense or good offense secondaries on a crit damage set. And then you've got some really powerful offensive crown on here, like Lumi. That is a nasty, nasty setup. So I'd say these are two really great Ahsoka setups here this season. This one with Hu Yang, like Hu Yang with damage, and then General Syndulla with defense and bulk. Those are both great.
Mhm.
And so
Well-
just really wanted to point out that a lot of folks were worried about what does the future look like for Ahsoka now that Ezra's here. I think the future's bright. I think this team is going to be great. And then the other honorable mention I wanted to make on defensive meta for the
really
season.
quick when we're talking about Ahsoka, statistically speaking, the Deidre FTC Looks like it has the highest hold rate.
That makes sense.
mean,
I
that's
like
just-
that.
Look, man, you can mod for crit chance on Spirit, and we went through the exact same thing with Crosshair and Stranger with the Maul FDC. If you're trying to prey on people for ignorance or, opportunity cost or exploiting people or whatever, sure, it probably has more holes because people just don't necessarily know. But just be aware. Spirits can be remodded for crit chance, and I know there are players out there who are doing it. I know spirits have been going to R10 per chance to also increase that crit chance number, so just keep it in mind.
Oh, yeah. I'm not even talking about Great Mothers because I don't think Great Mothers is a reliable answer this season. So I was just looking at what was struggling against it.
Sure.
It's like Leia or basically, anyways.
No,
So
I
was
think
just-
is your data, since you're bothering to look at the Dedricron on there, is that kind of like one size fits all? That this is a bad time for
everything
few
but
of the
Leia.
everything but Leia. So Leia gets to. That's what I remember. I think in week 1 I fought one of that, and it didn't seem to stop me. What it was though is that it made me want to for sure just try to blow up the non-Ezra side character. Right?
Yeah.
Not even attempt to try and blow him out first.
Yeah, so it
So-
really just depends on what you're trying to draw and what cron you want to set. Because I think you can annoy different counters with different setups. Leia doesn't care as much about the bulk. I'm looking here, like Leia's beating things with like 80% health plus bulk level 3, 72% health. Like just
Take
does
that.
not care.
Take that. All right, and then just another brief honorable mention here to Ray on defense. Ray is just the best defensive GL. If you don't like that, then you don't like facts. I don't know what to tell you about that, people. She is the longest serving and best performing defensive GL, bar none. And this week she was doing it for me as well against these Phantom Menace guys. These guys are overwhelmingly confident in their ability to execute using Queen versus Ray. I didn't think this would for sure stop them, but if there was anything I could do to impede it, maybe strip a banner or two, I was going to go for this. It's that same cron I was setting. Light side, it's very similar to the one I had on Ahsoka, right? It's light side bulk level 3, about 200% defense, a chunk of health, a chunk of crit damage. And yeah, 2.5 minutes in, lights out. They got Ben, but it's impressive. They were able to just burst Ben outright while Cal was still alive, but they still had to deal with Ray Cal. Round 1.
Can I point
Please.
out?
Get in.
Go back to that fight.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Hover over the attacking Datacron.
Yeah. Super high armor penetration. Let him have it, Fatal. Let him have it.
The results speak for themselves.
Something
If this had been
Qui-Gon
inverse,
special damage.
Yeah, if this had been inverse, people, if he
Yeah.
had like 32% armor penetration, 257% crit damage, light side offensive bust level 3 would have been potentially a very different situation. Because you're thinking, oh well, Padawan Obi-Wan's a physical attacker. But the thing is, he's got abysmal base armor penetration. Why did you?
Well, also
You
Qui-Gon
were
does
thinking about armor pen, and SM33 has great armor pen, and so your mouse just magnetically
It did. It must
attracted
have
towards
been.
SM33.
It must have been. Yeah. So he's got like 116% base armor penetration. You put like 200, 300%. Oh, now you've got 300. Compare that to a character who does actually have proper base armor penetration. Just for example, since I clicked it already, SM33, granted, he's at Relic 10, but it's not that much more for the armor pen gain. He's at 326 base. Now put 300% armor penetration on that, and you're talking about something, yeah? So the armor penetration is not the way to go, but I'm almost certain, this being Herbert, he has not been punished for doing this up until this point.
Right.
That's really what this reflects. And then I also think here in round 1, no, I didn't get a hold, but this guy did it, and he used a new set, high defense, like a good chunk of crit damage, but, able to, I don't know, better endure the damage coming out. The defense won't help you against the true damage, but it will against the physical, so...
I only wanted to add one more thing to our
Please.
conversation. It goes for week 2. It's why it's not Lumicron with Lumi. And it goes to my week 3.
Yeah.
I was able to just take like Bane, old school Bane set it because there's no real attacking out of turn for a quick, easy fight, and actually was showing up cleaner for better banners than like clean up pull because you're losing your protection. I was pulling a 54 and could have pulled a 55 in no time flat. So it's just going back to our discussion and kind of advancing that setting this, which as Fatal called out accurately, again, called it ass. I just want to support it that as you can see here, you open the door. And when you put something like what you have in place, stats with the better bulk, the better defensive stats, everything else like that, I don't know if you're going to get away with such a setup because it was a quick fight. As you can see, I think I almost pulled it back for a 55, but they died so quickly, I couldn't get it back to the beyond the 54.
Okay. I appreciate it. Great mention.
I will tack on one last thing.
No, guys, by all means,
For Queen
we're
of
on the
Metal
topic.
against Ryan.
Hmm?
I've said this before. I'm going to keep saying it until I see the change. If your Padawan Obi-Wan does not have 3 health primaries, you are fucking up. I have seen so many times this season how many players have lost that matchup for 0 reason because they have a squishy Obi-Wan. If you do not have 3 health primaries, you are fucking up. There are 2 possible outcomes in that fight. You win, which should happen 100% of the time, or you time out. If your Padawan Obi-Wan dies, it is your fault and you are fucking up. Please stop. I don't want... I want to win for actual reasons. It's not this offense primary death cult. It's not fun. Please be me.
I hear it. Yeah, I made that adjustment and I've not lost him since. And I made mention about that thing where I was getting beat up by the true damage coming out of Cassian. Having this high basis of health was great, man. That was pivotal. So definitely.
And I gotta say, like if you love damage, like I mean, think of classic Ray mods, man, right? Like we all have those health primaries with offense secondaries sitting around. You can still have a 4,000 offense Padawan Obi-Wan if you really want, and you can still have offense or health primaries while doing that.
You sure can.
Either reach out to those Ray mods or farm a second set if you're still diehard. I don't even know if those mods are that good on Ray anymore, to be honest.
I love it. Yeah, I love that thick set. It took me a long time to get to where I have them right now, but I'm like 245,000 health on Ray, 13.2k offense, and 500 speed. That took years to dial into that, though. But that's worth it. And I had to build up new primaries to hijack for Padawan Obi-Wan, so it is a long effort. But like a lot of these really interesting modding choices, like, your Master Qui-Gon modding, for example, Fatal. That's a journey of 1,000 miles, taking yourself from speed set, health primaries into an offense set, which is more easily, usable for this attacking setup on Qui-Gon than crit damage. And then one blessed day, you finally put together the crit damage set, the high offense secondaries, the 3 health primaries, the crit damage triangle, and then it can all come together. And it is worth it. But you remember when I started that? I feel like I've been after that for the better part of 2 years, putting that together, and it's only a few weeks back that I finally locked that in. So, worth it though. All right, guys, that was the end of the meta-analysis.
Hondo?
Did I miss Hondo? Oh yeah, you wanted to cover something about Hondo? By all means, what you got?
Oh yeah, so if your opponent's going to set double tank, you can just hold your stranger to trivialize it.
Okay.
And I think double tank is probably the best aggregate team you can set if your opponent's not going to pull stranger. But if your opponent's going to pull stranger, I would consider putting baby Hondo down. I'm just looking at the stats.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
stranger trivializes double tank.
That double take, yeah, it increases.
It's not in my history. I'm just looking at the stats.
Okay. I was looking to see.
Like I said, double tank, and one of my opponents failed with both JMK and SOK. I want to say.
Okay.
But yeah, like I'm just looking at the stats here.
The who is the third on your Pirate King team can be relevant to deciding what they're going to do.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. basically, if they're just to reiterate, if they're not going to pull Stranger, Quiggold is really good. If they're going to pull
Yeah.
Stranger, Baby Hondo.
Yeah, I don't know about people running Stranger for that, so I appreciate you pointing it out. Like the main ones that are getting used where I'm at are Slacker and JMK. Slacker is struggling with SM33 is the third, and JMK struggles when when OG Hondo is the third.
And Quiggold splits them both.
Yes. Yes. That's a third option.
Yeah.
No, good point. Anything else you wanted to cover?
No, I just wanted to touch on that, unless anyone else wants to add something like TJ did. But yeah, I just wanted to, because again, it's a team that's rotating, so people probably just it's an afterthought. But it's still worth maybe changing that up for the last week.
Okay.
I still kind of it. I understand why people would want to run off meta when it makes sense to.
Mm-hmm.
I do not understand the degree to which I have seen people posting on Discord about like, oh man, my SOK was on defense, and oh wait, they switched to OG Hondo, and I lost because I've tried running Starkiller JMK and lost due to RNG, and it's like, look, man, this just sounds like gambling. You are becoming a fleets enjoyer, in effect, because it's just like, just hold SLK. There's a great many things risks that you can take in this season. I do not know why, for the life of me, why you would post SLK on defense and take that big of a risk, knowing that the sword of Damocles is like over your head, and like you could start the round and just have lost on the spot because the OG Hondo decided you lost.
I can actually give an example of that, why you want to do it. So if you go to my round 2, it was a bloodbath between me and Yama. He set SLK, and that's not calling it a bad choice because he set like a monstrous board, and it was awesome. And at that point, I just did one of our also cooldown pulls, and then I took Satil and beat it up. And I'm not talking like I did anything crazy. So it was a great way to pull the setup, even if you're trying to go super, super heavy, right? And again, who's my third character? So I'm just calling it out to be silly, but it was at no point was my fight ever off. I just had to pull the cooldown, stop the stuff, and then do it. So even if that person's going to go that heavy, I'm sure you'd have room, or you're just going to bane it anyway. The same stuff still works on SLKR. So it's basically just showing an agreement to Fatal with an added, and I'll take my drop on this one for the option to use it till here, because that to me is a great use.
Mm-hmm. You need to have a lot of confidence or recklessness to set SOK in today's gas economy.
Yeah.
It's just not, you can solo something, you can 2-man something, which I was able to do. You're able to do a lot with it right now, and there's offensive stats. So
because
yeah. No, I'm agreeing with you. So your point is correct.
So many things that I don't want to, even if you did want to set SOK, I wouldn't want to hedge myself into even if they weren't, even though I knew they were going to set a Hondo or JMK, I wouldn't want to pigeonhole myself into it, because there's a bunch of other stuff I would, like to have that.
I'm showing this as just an example that all I had to do was just do, because of how heavy, and Yama sent amazingly heavy. So it was I call it Fatal S because he set a great defensive board, like a shit ton of GLs on the board where I had to do the cooldown pull. And then that setup, but it was nice to see that just setting it up with JKR and SLKR was back. SLKR still does the same stupid stuff it's always done with the AI. He wasn't swiping. He wasn't going to ult. He was stuck on Satil the entire time. And so Satil just kind of shrugged it off. So once you've gotten rid of those opening setups, it was a great pull for, as you saw, 36 or 37. So banners were all back.
Yeah, pretty good. I appreciate that. Hey, I happen to notice here that you did have a fail using Balin against DVD.
Dude.
And that's supposedly kind of like a lock. So what happened there? Because that was 52 seconds of bad.
Dude, that was, holy shit. His stuff was so fast. I never took a turn. I never made a move. And my Balin is clocked correctly, like 360 or whatever the speed is. Nope. Once they went, I never saw the light of day, which I was shocked by. It was ungodly. Feels
Fair.
bad, man. Won't be playing that one again.
Fair. All right. I appreciate that. Okay. Well, before we move to takeaways, don't let me cut you guys off. You guys seem to have a lot to talk about the meta for week 2. Anything else you wanted to make mention of?
If you
Going
want to
once.
try to throw people curveballs, you need to post a heavy enough defense that they can't just say, "Oh, all right," and then be holding 3 or 4 teams that would have killed it anyway.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he
Also,
Yeah.
being 20% against EPMJ with the EP ground, like I'm out.
Bane, yeah.
50 battles, 20% win rate. That's not, that's just this next week, I'm just saying, that's not something I would try. Because I was curious because I'm thinking like they open up with a double fracture, and that just feels like a TKO to Balin.
It was
Balin's
unreal.
fractured, and either Shin or Merrick gets fractured, and that
It
feels
feels
like
exactly
Balin.
like that. Exactly
it
what
does-
you're saying, especially with the speed check, is exactly what it felt like.
Well,
It
there's no speed
was
check.
they
Darth
started.
Vader gets the bonus turn and
No,
goes
it's
first.
not what I'm saying. I'm
sorry.
saying once it's in for the rest of the team. I'm not talking about the Vader. I'm just saying once
Oh,
the rest of the team moves, you just watch the fight. And I think Tash, you called it out accurately when you were doing your fight of like, so I guess I'll just sit here. Oh, I get to take a turn. Oh, joy. Yeah, and then that's exactly what it felt like for me. Although when you're watching the Fatal fight, when we talked about the modding and everything else, Fatal's like, yeah, it's cool. I'll just work through this, and he does, and it feels very victorious watching him play the game.
Okay, well, thank you guys. Let's go ahead and move it back around to takeaways and final thoughts. So, going into this last week, I was so gung-ho to try a few of these new things. I've got the new Satil Cron, I've got the new Django Cron. I really wanted to put those in the service. I'm going to have to see what my peers are up to this week and try and bring you guys some guest matches. I'm still reaching out to Meathead. Protest. Get your pitchforks out in the street. Let's all get in front of CG's offices and say,
I'll give you
put
one.
me
Task.
back.
So
Put me back in the
I'm putting-
brackets.
I'm putting it here now. I'll give you one. I don't know which one it'll be it this round or Friday. We'll get a show going for you, man. I feel
All
bad
right,
that
that's good. We'll get you in.
yeah. So you can put me on the docket for one of them. We'll figure it out.
All right, we'll straighten that out. No, appreciate it. Yeah, so that's about it for me. I mean, I had some lessons that I wanted to apply this week, but it's very custom to the people I'm fighting. Everything else we've already covered here that I mentioned earlier. So that's pretty much it for me. It's just I'm still kind of like dazed at thinking about this. I've never seen just a complete null week like that. Anyway, over to you, TJ. Your takeaways and final thoughts.
I like Dagger to go first. We normally let Dagger do his thing.
Yeah, you know what? I just my brain skipped him because he wasn't here last time. The pattern was filled.
That's
Dagger,
right.
why
That's
don't
right.
you give us your takeaways and final thoughts? And thanks for being with us today. I know you weren't feeling well.
I got a nice nap in, so
Good. Glad to hear it.
yeah, so I felt up to this. But yeah, obligatory, hopefully I have time. I ran out of time last week due to I posted in the chat what happened, but I didn't get to do a whole lot in GAC. So most of my takeaways from this week have been data driven, kind of like what tasks are gonna have to be for week 3, right? It's like I didn't get a whole lot of useful intel, but thankfully Tass had a week, so I could lean on some of his videos if I want to do a fight. By the way, once again, thank you for chapters. Makes my life easy when I'm trying to find fights.
Glad you like it.
But yeah, that's really all it is hoping I have time, because I actually was looking forward to this 3v3 season, because this meta does feel fun.
It is.
I know a lot of people don't like having turn meter and bulk running around, but light side bulk just feels like home. I don't know how else to put it. It's like it's prohibitive enough where things can hold. That's all
Fair
I got.
enough. All right, appreciate you. Now, TJ, properly. Over to you. What are your takeaways and final thoughts going into week 3?
The only thing I'm going to go off of, man, is I lose my match against round 2 with Yama, and it was a slugfest, and I really look forward to it. It was everything I wanted to be. I was okay with the loss. Feels good. Going to round 3 and losing by 3 points because you took something else or something else, really hate it. Can we just slug it out, guys? Can we do a little bit of old school and just fight the fight? Set some real stuff, not literally the definition of Ray and Pray with PKH. Can we play a real game? Because I'd like to do it and lose or win by the skin of my teeth. That would be amazing.
All right. I appreciate that. Over to you, Sasha Aisha. Your takeaways and final thoughts. So it's you, Mad Mage Nira, and Herbert in the top bracket with 5 Erodiums. One of those spots should have been me, but alas, I am cursed. What do you got, cooking for week 3?
By the way, it's me, Herbert, Nira, and then it's 4 rhodiums, and we just have a blank slot that just says LOL TAS on it.
Is that
which
true?
kinda
You
funny.
actually only have 7 in your
No,
bracket?
no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
No, it's
Uh,
hashtag get fucked, Tass. No, he's just trying to give you the nice. It's
That's
awesome.
right.
And it was a good joke, by the
Don't
way. It
know
was
what
really
to
good.
believe.
No,
I don't know what to
Sasha,
believe.
you needed to Photoshop it. You needed to
I
in 20
know.
minutes
Dude,
come back to
it-
get Photoshop to show
Well,
Tass.
I don't know what to believe. Like, it's just as probable that you could tell me that you could have a bracket
It's-
with only 7 people in it and one guy that's stuck in a null bracket. I could believe
I just want
that.
you to swap with like a Tass sad face, like his emojis on the thing. It's like the sad Tass face, like cry. And then that's slot 8, and it's perfect.
Yeah,
No
there's
doubt.
an 8th slot, and it's Tass's profile picture, but there's no name. But it's his his little profile icon with
Just
his
question
little
marks.
saying underneath where his
Yep.
name would be, and that's it.
Yeah. I gotta say, like, I think like my response, I mentioned this to you just separate on Discord before we got on task, but like I'm hugely bummed not to have you in because like I said, I've been hungering for a match like this for a while. Like it was just a ton of fun. Like the back and forth, getting to try like to watch my defense, to be able to like play with a friend. So I am hugely bummed. Like I tried to beat you that last round. You beat me, but there was a reason I held back a few of my attacks. Is that like at the end of the day, I wanted to beat you, but if it came down to like, I knew I would have been happier if you got the win there, regardless, to make sure you stayed in that bracket. And so like I'm bummed to not have you in that. So all that being said, like I think I'll still take the positive way ahead of the glitchy negative here, and that is like I think it feels like a fun meta when I was able to re-engage and start thinking a little bit about it. And then, I was in and out during your stream, beginning to watch some of that. It was just a lot of fun. So I'm feeling good about the meta for the most part. And I really look forward to at some point, whether it's the revamp of the mode or whatever, getting back to a point where we have more regular competitive matches. Because I still think there are a lot of really like fun people to play this game with in this community, and if we can overcome the glitches, I feel pretty darn good about it. So, yeah, bummed in the near term, but kind of a prevailing positive sentiment out of the experience.
I hear you, man, and I appreciate it. It was really a pleasure to have all 3 great matches, and definitely been a while since I fought you. So likewise, I'm hopefully it's straightened out here for the next season of Fives. You never know. I dare not make any prediction or hold out hope for what zany future awaits me come next matchmaking. But yeah, likewise, it was a real pleasure, man. So see you when I see you.
That's right.
And as for you, Fatal, last but never least, what do you have, cooking in the pot here going into week 3 of this season?
I have done, I feel, a very large amount of cooking this season, but people are just doing such weird stuff that none of it has really had a chance to even try to like do what it's supposed to do. And I've got more of that on the way for this week, and I mean, look, man. Honestly, there was one opportunity where if I just stuck with my guns, I made the mistake of scouting and like trying to see like, okay, where's the populace? What's the trend? Like, I looked at my week 1 data, was like, okay, seems like a lot of people. Okay, is this guy gonna do that? Yeah, probably. And so I tried like shifting characters around. I should have done that. I should have like, fuck scouting, fuck trying to like. It never works. Just stick with your game plan, and eventually it will hit someone, and that's all it needs to be. And so I will be doing that for week 3. I mean, I guess I'm not going to be doing it tomorrow. But
True.
Assumedly I will get 2 real matches. I don't know if I'm allowed to win them at this point. I am at the point that I was trying to avoid, where I don't know. I think I'm kind of at the event horizon. I don't know if it's actually possible for me to
Just
fall out or what. At this
put your
point.
head down and bully through. That's all I can tell you, man. Put your head down and bully through.
Says the guy who got soft banned from Grand Arena for an entire season.
Yeah, maybe my advice isn't the best.
You shouldn't hack, man. That's what they try to tell you. Don't hack, and this is what you get.
What it is.
Yeah, man.
They got me.
First we have Fatal. First we have Fatal talking about cooking. So now I'm hungry. And then we have Tass trying to give advice. Like it's been a hell of a show.
Mm-hmm.
We have not heard anything further from CG on the Erodium stuff, right? Like I didn't know if I'm not good about following.
Never again. Never again.
Look at Tass, dude. Are you sure you want to say anything? Look at Tass. He says something all the time, and now
speak up at your own peril.
He can't even play, dude. Yeah.
Tass spoke out about it, so they put the airplane with the
That's
skywriting
what I'm saying.
saying, "Fuck you, Tassenix."
Yeah, this GAC's in airplane mode. We ain't live, boys.
Here it is.
This is not word from CG, but my assumption based on lack of action, as well as based on what CG has said their near future roadmap is, I would assume that the Erodium problem is like too systemic for them to be able to easily solve, and that the first possible chance of us getting relief on that subject will come from whatever happens with GAC.
Yeah,
that feels accurate.
Cannot wait.
Here's hoping, man. But anyways,
so when we get to the real time PvP GAC, then there won't be Erodiums in it. So when that's finally launched,
I just don't
I
want them
actually
to alter
wouldn't
the
hate
deal.
I wouldn't hate real time.
That'd be great.
I am very per real time at this point. People, look, man, you're gonna cheese and play super slow. Fucking okay, go with God. Learn the matchup.
Yeah, the PvP in this game sucks. Like the boards are too small. Insert all of our previous whatevers. Yeah, just 1v1 me. I'll control my team. You control your team. You don't get to rely on the dumb AI to like cheese mechanics. Eat shit.
I still disagree on the board thing. I think there is no boring metas. There's just boring players, and I think everyone's boring as fuck right now. Well, that's just me.
Well,
I can't have that from you, because I've heard you here on this show many times complain about a stale meta that was solved after week 1. This is not that meta. You are right to be enjoying it, but let's not sit up here and bullshit and say that there hasn't been plenty of staleness in the recent past.
And I had a character arc.
I see.
That's fair.
You've achieved Super Saiyan 3. I see.
I just want there to be less incentive to cheese, and the more GLs we get, the more incentive there is to cheese.
Oh, I'll give you an incentive. Maybe I should keep climbing.
Yeah, hey,
climbing is not an incentive for my Fatal. You climbing is not an incentive for my opponents to not cheese.
Well, if a lot of people seem to try to copy from highest ranks, who knows?
That's fair. That's fair. That is fair. I'm just saying live PvP would remove a lot of it won't remove the cheesers. It'll just mean there'll be less mechanics-based cheesing of teams on the board.
It's live PvP is such a fucking can of worms. We can't at this point.
There would be no live PvP in this game, and that makes me sad, but it's okay. I don't see a route for it. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't really expect it. That was kind of farcical on my part. But sorry, go ahead. I want to hear your Fatal.
No, from my experience, in modern gaming communities in a variety of different types of games, I don't think people have a strong enough mental to handle like a CLS stun locking and juggling them. I think you would see this team fucking. Where are the nerfs? This team is fucking. This CLS is. I had to watch my opponent take 4 minutes of turns straight. How is this allowed?
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah,
I've
that
played
is
other
fair.
games that have live PvP, and yeah, like their Discord or their forums were always just people raging about a team that just like TM trained them into the ground because their modding was shit or their whatever their equivalent of relics were just not high enough, so somebody died too early. All that kind of shit, right? It's like, uh
I am
I
at the
could
point where I would
absolutely
enjoy it greatly, but
I
yeah.
could imagine that experience where I don't know if there was a mode like PvP, and in some portion at least, it was invisible as to what squad the opponent's bringing in, and having your heart just absolutely sink when you bring in one particular squad and you see they brought in lowly Mon Mothma, but there's just nothing that you can do. Like it's just you're going to be like basically like wheedled away for 5-10 minutes or whatever.
Sure,
yeah,
we've all had the moment where it's like the AI does the correct move multiple times perfectly. It's like
Yeah.
that was your taste. That was it. Like that's
Yeah, I know.
you want to think what live PvP is like? Yeah, bud.
you remember? Do you
They're
guys
coming for you.
remember? Do you guys remember back in the day when people were doing the Emperor Palpatine or Traya mirrors, and people started running Thrawn lead to give, or sorry, Tarkin lead to give their Thrawn 30 speed so they could fracture first?
Yep.
Yes.
I cannot wait. If we got live PvP, I cannot wait for someone to take the meta team and just have somebody else like speed stick their version of the team with like a Watt Tech or something, and then just get hoed out and then just like rage like no one's ever raged before because like I had the relics, I had the mods, and they just brought Watt and won. Fuck them. It's like, okay.
Man, the
Like
game's
Watt
like
Mall.
completely busted for me right now. I tried to just do a squad arena, and when I go to the arena table, it's error kicks me out of the game.
Oh well, you're tabbed out on Discord. So we
You,
can't even see what you're doing.
I
Oh,
can
that's
see it
fair.
right now. I think CG is hacking your mainframe.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, it's
Yeah,
grim
but
times
yeah,
out here. But we
Sasha,
were
that's
That's
me,
an
man.
we were
experience.
wrapping you up, Fatal. I know you've got a dud for your first round, but
Oh,
are you
sorry.
going to be live doing something in the same time period? And if not, just where can the people catch you for the rest of your rounds this coming week?
I will not be able to. Frankly, it's actually kind of convenient that I got Iridium because I would not have been available anyway. But yeah, I will be back on Friday, assumedly. Twitch.tv/PlaybookTV, YouTube.com/the Playbook. Yeah,
Well,
should be good.
appreciate it.
I am still very much excited about the things that I have been working on. It would be cool if people could just be cool.
Hmm.
Just play the video game.
Fair enough. Well,
I'm getting a lot of holds I should not.
yeah. Well, I appreciate you guys. Thank you, gentlemen, for making time to be with me here for our show tonight. And thanks to all of you watching. Of course, it's going to be touch and go this week. I don't have the ability to do real fights of my own, but I am going to try to bring you some guest streams. Stay tuned on my Discord. If you're not already there, check my channel links. You'll see links to get into my Discord. Hop on in, and you'll be able to, find out when and or if I'm going live. Aside from that, you can catch me at twitch.tv/Tassenix. My YouTube channel is Tassenix Gaming, where if you've not been there before, check it out. There's a whole bunch of Swigger related content over there. If you haven't seen it before, you'd really enjoy checking that out. Anything you enjoy, give it a like. Hit subscribe to the channel to see more. Really appreciate that. And follow me on Twitch. All great ways to support the channel, absolutely free. Anything else? Let's see. Yeah, if you want to go above and beyond the Call of Duty to support the stream, there are a few ways to do so. I do have a Cash App, that is $Tassenix. I do have a PayPal, that is tassenix@gmail.com. And if you're interested in getting some enhanced Grand Arena scouting power for yourself, early access to my content, including plotting and scheming, and a few other benefits besides, you may be interested in becoming a patron. Check out patreon.com/Tassenix. For any upwardly mobile Grand Arena player, there is something there of interest for you. Recently I've had a few patrons engage my Grand Arena /mod coaching service, and they're loving it. They've urged me to make more mention of it here, and so this is me doing that. So if you're interested, inquire. It's something that I would offer that service to anybody, but you do get an added 10% discount by being a patron. So you got that going for you, which is nice. Anyways, as little as $5 a month gets you into the TAS house at, that's the wrong button, VIP access level, where you get early access to the Plotting and Scheming show. That's coming out to our general audience Friday mornings at 8 a.m. Eastern. My patrons have it as early as Monday or Tuesday night, depending on when we sit down to record, giving you early insight going into that first round of the week. I will occasionally also make patron exclusive videos that you'll have at least a month ahead of the general public. And of course, dedicated text and voice chat on Discord, where I am usually lurking. Pop on in and say hi. Thank you so much to all of my patrons here. Subscribe to VIP Access. Moving on up to the $10 a month tier is VIP Access Plus, where you get a bundled Patreon access to me and to your choice of either OmegaBot or Hot Utils Patreon. OmegaBot's that tool that I highlight at the start of all of my Grand Arena streams. It's the one with the graphs that give you an easily understood sense of your opponent's offensive and defensive tendencies. Anybody can use that tool for free to scout their opponent's last week of Grand Arena history, but only patrons can build out a custom report with any number of weeks. You get a downloadable HTML version of that report with embedded links that, when you click them, takes you right back into Swagga.gg or Insight with data pre-sorted, just helping you further minimize and focus your scouting efforts. Alternatively, you may go for the Hot Utils Patreon, aka Chili subscription, which is your #1 tool for your mass mod management and loadout creation. Nothing else lets you switch so easily between your Grand Arena, TB, TW, and Raid mods. You can use it like TJ and Fatal do to comprehensively remod your roster using the powerful automation feature. You can slice through hundreds of mods in seconds, help out your guild in TW, and so much more. No wrong way to go at VIP Access Plus. Thank you so much to all of my patrons signed up here. At VIP Access Premium, that is $15 a month for the Double Bot bundle. So that is Patreon access for me, OmegaBot, and Hot Utils all in one price. Going out and getting those two bots anywhere else costs the same as this triple bundle, which is why so many of my patrons say it's one of the best values in the game. Thank you so much to all of my patrons subscribed here at VIP Access Premium. I know you guys enjoy the double bots. At the top of the list for my very most generous supporters here in Jester's Club Elite, the one, the only Nomad's Reaper, a madman who pops into stream from time to time and just goes crazy, handing out hundreds of gift subs, thousands of biddies, carrying hype trains. He's done it all over the years. Thank you so much, Nomads, for the incredibly generous support. To Pills, who will also show up mostly towards the end of streams and hand out, sometimes it's 10 gift subs here, it could be 100 gift subs there. I never quite know what to expect, but it is always appreciated. Thank you so much. Special thanks goes out to the Lost Womp Rat, one of my patrons who's gone above and beyond the Call of Duty, not just for me, but for content creators all over our game, helping us all iron out our back-end issues with our streaming setups, especially recently, now that Stream Elements is defunct. He's helping us fix all of our broken integration, so appreciate you and your time and attention as always, Womp Rat. To Mrs. T, my wife, thank you for all you do in the background, whether that's bringing me something to eat or drink here on stream, or just keeping our daughter from tearing the house apart while I'm trying to be the very best like no one ever was at a phone game. I appreciate you. And of course, to my co-hosts here, I'm Plotting and Scheming, Dagger, TJ, Sasha, Aisha, and Fatal. Gentlemen, as always, it has been my pleasure and privilege to record our show this evening. Despite the pressures of work, family, kittens jumping around your desk, whatever the situation is, you guys make the time to be here for every episode, and I appreciate it. I learn from every one of these shows. Hopefully you guys feel the same, but it is not about us. It is about the viewers, the listeners tuning in, and they're letting us know that we're having the intended effect that we wanted to have with our show. It is rare that a day goes by where I'm not getting DMs, a comment on YouTube, something letting us know that folks are picking up actionable intelligence from our show, and it's helping them win the day in Grand Arena. So thank you guys so much for being part of the show. 3+ years on, we're achieving what we want to do with the show. So I wouldn't change a thing. Appreciate you. All right, we made it back on over to the end, and yeah, I'll stay in good spirits. I'm going to try and bring you some good matches this week. I got to network and reach out, and again, make some noise on my behalf in forums wherever you can about this issue. It's not. I don't like it happening to me. I wouldn't want this to happen to anybody. So we'll see if CG can do something. I don't know. We'll have to find out. Stay tuned, and until next time, it's been real. It's been awesome. It's been real awesome. Take care.